All right, what is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another day of Saber Sims DFS office hours. It is Tuesday, August 1st of 2023, first day of August. That means we will have preseason NFL games this month with the NFL season coming up fast. I know that DraftKings released contests and salaries for NFL. If you haven't seen those, go check those out. Fun to look at, fun to start thinking about. But in the meantime, we have a 14-game MLB main slate today, and then we have the Wyndham Championship teeing off for PGA on Thursday morning. So plenty of DFS to play in the immediate future. But for those of you who are new here, welcome. My name is Andrew. I'm one of the coaches over here at Saber Sims, a show where we go over how to use the Saber Sim app, answer any and all DFS related questions. You can post questions one of three ways here. Post questions live in the YouTube chat, to post questions in the office hours channel in our Discord server, and you can send us an email, support@sabersim.com. Send us your questions, and we will get to all the questions before the end of the show. If you are not in the Discord and want to get access to that office hours channel, there is a link in the description of this video here. Also get access to all of our similar channels, see when lineups are released, see when players are scratched, see when updated lineups come out, see when Sims run for that updated news, get access to all of our individual sport channels where members of the community and members of the SaberSim team are talking DFS strategy, helping each other become better DFS players each and every day. So can't say enough good things about the Discord here. But with that being said, going to get the app pulled up. Looks like we have two questions in the office hours channel here. We will knock through those, but beyond that here, if you guys have any questions that you guys want to get answered, now is always a great time to put those in the queue. So first question from Mo Donahoe says, watching Jordan's video on his procedure for building mass lineups. Once he ran 5,000 lineups, set his min uniques to 5. He went over to the team exposure in the video. His top team had a stack pool exposure of 25%. His top team had a 24% team exposure. They pretty well matched up. For example, the one I am doing now, top stack pool exposure is 22%, but the stack exposure is 36%, way higher. Do you bring your stack exposure down to level up with your stack pool exposure, or how do you get those team exposures down, and how do you decide? Thanks. Really good question here. So I ran a build right before we got started here, so I'm just going to use this as our example build. And really, this just comes down to, you need to ask yourself, what makes you comfortable? What type of DFS player are you, right? Are you an ultra aggressive player who is okay with losing, 90% of their buy-ins on a given night? Are you somebody who is a little more middle of the road, wants to take some stands, but not too strong of stands, wants to have, lineups to fall back on in case your main stand kind of goes awry, right? Doesn't work out for you, right? Or there's this approach that you're talking about where it's the very spread out approach, the more risk averse approach. This is the person who understands how swingy DFS can be and is trying to do everything in their power to smooth out that variance and give them as many shots on goal on any given night as possible, right? So for Jordan is that third person, right? He is somebody who wants to get more spread out, wants to try and cover his bases, maybe get more back on a nightly basis than somebody being ultra aggressive, right? I kind of fall more into that middle ground here where I am happy to take some stands, right? So using your example here, when my stack pool exposure, my highest stack pool exposure here is 40% in my top 20 lineups here, or 40% of my pool, my top exposure in my stacks here is 50%, right? So I am not doing anything to bring that down because I'm okay with that, right? If I were to take these lineups and submit them, regardless of what happens, I would be fine with the outcome, right? Some players might say, hey, when I was done with my lineups, I trusted the percentages and it didn't work out, and I felt really bad about that, right? It really bothered me kind of the rest of the day, right? So couple things with that. One, make sure you're playing within your bankroll, right? Our DFS profit plan says to play 2.5 to 5% of your bankroll on a nightly basis, right? If you are playing somewhere around 5% and on a winning night, it is affecting you like emotionally here, maybe lower that, right? Maybe play closer to 3%, maybe play 2.5, right? I think that, if like weird stuff happens in DFS all the time, right? But the great thing is that it's a daily sport. So regardless of what happens today, tomorrow's a new day, right? So let's say that you start Spencer Strider tonight and you have a lot of exposure to him and he gets hurt, right? He gets an arm injury. I don't wish that on anybody, but it happens, right? He's a pitcher. Comes out early, forearm discomfort, right? And then a lot of your lineups are sunk, right? If that like really, really bothers you, and you just like can't get over that, I would say you're probably too invested on that night, right? You need to be in a spot where it's like, oh man, Spencer Strider got hurt. Oh well, chalk it up as a loss. Let's move on to the next day, right? That is what you should walk away with when these weird circumstances occur. Just kind of brush it off onto the next day, like that. If you have that reaction, you are playing the appropriate amount of bankroll. Like that is my opinion, but that's what I've seen. That's what I've experienced myself as well here. So think about that when you're making these decisions. What I always say here is that if you are done with your lineup set, you submit it and it makes you uncomfortable, then you have not made enough changes to your set, regardless of whatever type of player you are, whether you are too spread out, whether you're not spread out enough. Process over results, whatever happens, you should feel comfortable with the lineups that you submit to your contests. And then, hopefully, fingers crossed you win from there, right? So those are kind of my thoughts. All right. Good question there. Going to hit this next one. Actually, I'm going to hit this one in the YouTube chat really quickly here. Neil said, hi, Andrew. I'm wondering if there are any plans to do the weekly NFL Minimax contest again this year. So we've done it 2 years in a row. I am not part of the internal conversations as to if we are bringing this back or not. My guess here is that we will, because it's very popular and a lot of people participate, but I can't say for sure, right? So we will have more details on what we are planning to offer for NFL season, within the next couple of weeks here. So stay tuned for that. But we try not to disappoint you guys, and we know people love the Mini Max Challenge. So that's all I had to say on that topic there. But I'm excited for NFL. All right, next question here from Akel. Let me know if I'm not pronouncing that right. And this is our last question at the moment. So it looks like it's a two-parter here. So we're gonna get both of these in the chat. We'll talk through these. First part says, when you experience downswings, how do you keep yourself together mentally in order to avoid considering changing your process? I'm at a point in a Saber Sim where I don't completely lose 100% of my buy-in, but I also don't land on the highest scoring lineup to win. With that said, what would be the easiest way to figure out what needs to be tweaked in my process? Okay, great question. I feel like we haven't really talked about downswings too much here in the recent past. So let's jump into this. Neil said fair enough. Thanks. Yeah, man. We will definitely let you guys know what is coming. But first part here. All right, so let's go back to Akel's question. Going to go to the YouTube chat. So if you are experiencing a downswing, fear not. It is very normal in DFS to go through downswings. And the reason for that is because of the prize structure, right? So we have usually these very top-heavy contests where first place is getting, 25% to first, and then the payouts are dropping very, very quickly, right? So DFS is this very high, top-heavy payout structures here. So it's very normal to experience downswings. First thing that you should always look at when experiencing a downswing is, am I playing the right contests? Am I playing the softest contests I can possibly find? And the best way to know how to do that is to implement our DFS profit plan here, which you can find on the YouTube channel on the homepage. New here, start here first. It's a 17-minute video. Start winning more with our DFS profit plan. This is all about contest selection. So one thing that I'll say on the show is that, hey, if you are the 10th best poker player in the world and you are sitting at a table with the other 9 best players, you are now the worst player at the table. That is not what you want, right? You want to find competitions, environments where you are one of the winningest players in the contest, right? So best way to do that is to, one, play on all contests under $3 on FanDuel and DraftKings, right? So contests under $3, the winningest players do not even have access to. They cannot even see those contests, right? So playing under $3 is huge. playing on alternate sites, alternate slates, right? So playing on Owner's Box is great. A lot of the best players are not playing over on Owner's Box, but there is still contests and there's still money to be won on that site, right? And then the contests are overlaying. Look at Yahoo. Look at alternate slates, right? Maybe you play all the contests under $3 for the DraftKings main slate. Well, instead of going up in stakes at that point, instead of going and playing putting lineups into the $3 150 max, which everybody has access to, go and look at the turbo slate, go and look at the night slate, go and look at some of the showdowns. They're going to offer $1.20 maxes, 25-cent 20 maxes, right? And that's additional contest for you to get action down where those best players cannot access those, right? So those are good ways of finding good contests for you. You can look at satellites, right? There's a lot of satellites, especially on FanDuel, under $3, and they overlay frequently, right? So you can get access to some of those bigger contests at a reduced price in contests that are overlaying, right? So that's another good way to get access to some of those contests at a discount, right? So do those things, and watch the profit plan video. We talk about splitting your nightly bankroll allocation into 50 to 75%, 20 max and 150 max, 25% to 50% single entry and 3 max here. That is our way of mixing in, contests which are larger field and then contests that are smaller field. You can have an edge in a large field contest. It can still take you a long time to realize that edge, right? So having this balance of single entry and single entry 3 max, 20 max, 150 max puts you in, enough smaller size contests where you have a better chance of realizing that equity. So the whole point is to smooth out your variance over time while still allowing you to grow that bankroll and start to play more and more DFS contests here, right? So that's the whole reason that we created the DFS profit plan, was to help with that first point there. So that's the first thing. Contest selection, super important. Second thing here, getting back to the SaberSim app. And one thing that I wanted to talk about said, how do you keep yourself together mentally in order to avoid considering changes to your process? Okay, so how do you understand if you are having a process that is good and you're just getting unlucky, or how do you figure out if, hey, maybe I don't have a process that's doing that good and maybe I do need to make some changes, right? So it's not about, hey, I'm going to stick with my process, I'm just getting unlucky. It's like, hey, should I change my process, right? So that's kind of what we're trying to figure out. There's this, I listen to this podcast where they talk about there's 3 sides of a coin. There's heads, there's tails, and there's the edge. And some people are on the head sides. They're saying like, no, my side's right, I'm right. Then there's tails saying like, no, we're right. This is the side to be on. And the people on the edge are saying like, hey, like, what do you guys think? You guys think this side's right, or you guys think this side's right? And you always want to be on that edge, right? Especially when analyzing your DFS process. It's like, oh, they're the people like, oh, I'm just getting unlucky. I just need to stick with what I want. And then there are people that are like always trying to change up what they're doing. And you need to be on that edge, figuring out like, hey, what is really going on here, right? So one of the best ways to do that is to look at your top 1% equity. What this is that if we have a 100-person contest, a average player will get one lineup in the top 1% of the contest 1 out of 100 times, right? So if you are an average DFS player, those are the odds that you should achieve that outcome, right? You should get first 1 out of 100 times. The good players are exceeding that expectation, right? They are winning. Maybe instead of 1 out of 100, they're getting, 1 out of 90 times, 1 out of 80 times, right? So each time you are exceeding your expectation, you're getting more than your fair share of lineups in the top 1% of a contest, right? This is a really good, easy way to understand, how you're doing. If you are putting, 2% of your lineups in the top 1%, then you are, twice as good as the average player. If you're still losing, I would say, yes, you were probably getting unlucky, but your process is solid. So keep, doing what you're doing. Just focus on your contest selection, and then you're going to be okay, right? There was an example of this on Twitter recently, and I remember seeing it, and I want to show it to you guys here. So let me pull that up. Pull up my screen. So it's this idea of hypothetical ROIs here. So if you guys can't see this, let me zoom in. Let me know if you guys have trouble seeing it or not. But basically here, what this is doing is we are estimating hypothetical ROIs using top 1% finish rate in 100-person DFS contests here. And this is the equation. It's EV equals top 1% rate times 100 minus 1 minus the rake times 1 minus the rake, right? And then what you can do is you can do different top 1% rates. So whatever the rake is, right? If the rake is 15%, if you're putting 1.15% of your lineups in the top 1% of the contest, then you are breaking even, right? This is what we talk about where people say, hey, you know, I am breaking even. I'm getting my money back on a nightly basis, but I'm not winning, right? It's like, well, if you're getting your money back, then you are better than the average player, because if you are only putting in 1% of your lineups in the top 1% here, then you are actually losing to the rake. You are going to be negative in this example here, right? So if you are breaking even, then you are beating the rake, right? So you're already a winning player. So don't forget that. But from here, right, if you are getting 1.2% of your lineups in the top 1%, then you have a small edge here, right? You're about a 4 to 5% ROI, and then it scales from there, right? 1.3%, you would have a 13% hypothetical ROI. 1.8%, you would have a 55% hypothetical ROI, right? So this is a one example, one way to visualize how you should be doing if you played an infinite number of contests, right? It gets a little weird when you start having this portfolio, right? This is supposed to be for an individual contest, but if you are mixing contests with different 1%, different percent payouts to first and different prize structures, it doesn't work out exactly like this, but this is just a good visualization of what it would look like here, right? So just wanted to mention 1% ROI here. And also, we have this really good video on the YouTube channel. It's a little bit older here, but it is still a really good video for you guys. So go to the YouTube channel, go to search, go to type in variance. And then during this video, it says, what does variance after 100 slates look like for a winning player? So basically what he does, it's a 15-minute video. He creates a Google Doc. He gives a player a winning expectation here. So basically he's doing this as if he is a player with that is twice as good as the field here. And then he simulates seasons of playing contests here, like a full season. And sometimes he'll have a losing season. Sometimes he'll have a winning season. Sometimes he'll have a break-even season, even though he is a long-term winning player here. So this is just a really good grounding kind of video. We're like, hey, even a player who is twice as good as the field can lose across a season of, I think it was MLB contest. I could be wrong here, but really good video. Would highly recommend checking that out here. All right. That's about all I have on that question here. Happy to answer any questions or respond to anything I said here. So if there's any follow-up, just let me know. But going to get SaberSim pulled back up here and going to keep it rolling. Neil said, I guess one more question. Any plans for college football sims? So I don't think so. I don't think we have any plans to support college football this year. The big push has been the new version of SaberSim here. So don't want to promise anything that I am unaware of. All right. Snowman said, good morning. What is up, Snowman? All right. Clay said, how do you max cap your team stacks to 20%? So good question here. Honestly, the easiest way to do that would just simply be in the post build here. So you run your build, you go to team stacks, and then you just come in here and in the all tab, just go to the max exposure column. I don't even have that many teams over 20%. So then I would just change these, right? And just change them until everybody is effectively under 20%. I could change a couple teams in advance here just to make sure that nothing funny happens after the fact. Apply. And then boom, everyone's under 20%. So we have in the build settings, we have this max exposure box. This is a global max exposure for all players here. And then on the home screen, if you wanted to do this ahead of time here, what you could do is go to the team stacks on the home tab and then just put in the max exposure ahead of time here. But honestly, I think that if you do it in the home screen, it might make your build run a little slower here and take a little bit more time. I don't think you're going to get so many teams over 20% that it's any worse to do it in the post build, right? And then usually like the more lineups you're running, the less likely the a little bit more spread out you'll be with more access to your pool here, right? So just handling in the post build is probably the easiest thing at the moment. All right, we are all caught up with questions as of right now. So if anybody has any last questions they want to ask, now's a great time to get those in. But in the meantime here, just want to remind you guys, if you guys are not playing over on Owner's Box, would highly recommend taking advantage of our partnership with them. We were the first major optimizer to support Owner's Box contests at the beginning of the MLB season here. They are a smaller up-and-coming DFS site, and because they're smaller and up-and-coming, a lot of their contests are overlaying. So getting back to that top 1% example here, if you lower the rake, then, if you are getting 1.15% of your lineups in the top 1%, but you are paying less rake, then you are going to be a winning player faster, right? So finding contests with overlay is a huge edge in 2023 DFS. Contests on Owner's Box overlay a lot. Reduce rake, no rake. Even you can even find contests where they are paying you to play. Your $5 entry becomes worth $6 by the time the contest starts here. So great opportunity. Would take advantage of it. I don't think it will last forever, right? So another thing, that the competition is going to be softer than what you're going to find on other DFS sites here. Getting back to the poker example, right? So this is a great way to be a big fish in a small pond. So taking advantage of those soft contests, highly recommend it. If you use promo code SABER or SaberSim when you sign up, 1, you will get up to a $500 deposit bonus. 2, we will track your entry fees for you, and you can earn free months of SaberSim just by playing on the site and nothing else. So each time you hit one of our entry fee tiers, our support team will reach out to you, let you know you have earned a free month of SaberSim, and ask you if you want to cash in on it. You can wait till the next tier, but either way, once you cash in on that prize, we will reset your tracking to 0, and then you will automatically start earning towards your next free month. There is no limit on the amount of free months you can earn while this promotion lasts. All right. No more questions at the moment here. So I think we're going to call it. But if you guys are building lineups throughout the day, question pops in your head, drop it in the Office Hours channel, drop it in the YouTube chat upcoming stream here. So on our YouTube channel, you can see all of our upcoming shows for the week here. And I'll show you guys how to do that. So on the homepage, we have these upcoming live streams. You can click into any one of these videos, and then you can ask a question ahead of time in the chat. If you ask a question in the chat, it will stay there until the next show. Just gets us a steady queue of questions to get started with while people continue to roll in here. But until tomorrow, take care. Good luck in your contest. I will see you all. Thanks. Bye.